开始啊！开始的，开始的。
I'm ready.
先找这些人谈个话吧。你好。
So much for Theos, then. Now you have a chance to set things right, back to the proper order of things. It will take the Deerwood generations to recover, but at least these souls will find their way back to the wheel, as it should be.
Wheel 应该是轮回的意思，没有翻出来。哦。
Yes.
屁话。卡纳。
We've come to the end of it, my friend. It has been an honor to walk this road with you, and I will regret our parting.
这句话就没讲啊。
What?
啊，我这个是真的很勇敢，一个人谈大王，然后还讲了两次。
The end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were afield in need of a flame's cleansing. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A god's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
哦，你想跟我对干？
I? Astounding. I always knew the Leaden Key stood for something big, but I didn't quite realize what I'd gotten myself into. And now, you're in the middle of something even bigger. The decision that will affect millions.
正确来说，他们只是灵魂，只是一种能量。要把他们称为人，还是早得很。
But even if you send the souls somewhere specific now, who knows what the next turn of the wheel will make of them? We can't really control what happens to them. Nor should we try. I had to see the monster Theos had become to realize that. It's your decision, of course. And whatever you decide, I'm glad our paths crossed in Gilded Vale.
再见到你，令我很高兴。为什么是再见到你？
Your thoughts must flow deeply. Theos may be gone, but his crimes, the wounds he has inflicted, remain. Yet before you lies an opportunity to heal, to restore. Only through the healing of families, repairing the bonds between parent and child, reforging the shattered links between generations, can the Deerwood be knit whole once more. People will long remember the legacy. Let them also remember the healing that followed.
I'm ready.
垃圾话讲完了。哦，我是什么时候存了一个安祈祷在这里？搞不懂。先存起来。有人一直在，等一下要处理一些杂事。 啊，还是说这个只有那个而已？应该有地块啊。应该会有地砖跟一些什么。 哦，
I understand.
所以时间，赛奥斯已经不见了。我现在能够决定的就是个靠腰，一阵刺耳尖利的嘎嘎笑声吸引你转过了头，是卡恩。
You know something of quiet servitude, Watcher. Groveling and simpering before the gods whose aid you need, so that when they finally raise you to a place of power, you can seize what you desire. You have labored at the pleasure of others. That shriveled hag in Hodred House. Those well-bred thieves with their lordly pretensions. The wretched tribesmen playing out their fantasies of grandeur. And then you cowered and knelt before the gods themselves, begging one paltry favor and receiving riddles and visions in response. And now the gods give you orders and commands, even while you set out to fix what they cannot. Yet what have they offered you?
奇怪，这家伙不是才在冰霜之神的腿底下，跟我们讲一些屁话吗？
The exiled queen is not an ungrateful patron.
忘恩负义的人，这家伙是双面间谍啊！
Finish the work Theos began. Strengthen Woodica with these souls and allow her to become the most powerful of all the gods, with you as her favored.
什么意思？如果你现在帮助他，那你就是他的大恩人了。想想他在你的余生，他会怎样报答你？ 据说你的这个同伴是被他自己的是的秘密永远保持下去。然后呢？最后的话，虽然忠诚，但是差劲。赛奥斯之前的失败充分证明了他的无能。 事实证明你很有才干，完全能胜任神灵们的计划，记性很好。我已经跟你解释清楚了，通魂者，必须当众神的小卒，还是跃升为他们的合作者，随你便。来啊，沃迪卡。同时也不是很喜欢你啊，斯卡恩。 会考虑你的话，不能帮助你。
You say that now, but when you're standing in front of the machine, considering the lifetimes and the powers that await you, we'll see what you do.
我先跟你说，我们都不会做。哎，看，所以这边还有这段剧情哦。那我刚刚在那边存档是存对的，所以我只能跟你。 念出启动机器的命令，被送往动漫之中。你是强化他们，结束他们的存在，送往本打算者的身体中，送往轮回。而且我想把他们全部分散，没有什么兴趣。 在 瞬间，你竭尽全身气力钻去他们的轨道，把他们引导到一个新的方向。我为什么不能把它引导到自己身上，把自己变
At
成
your
神？
command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale, pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last.
干瓦尔救我！
After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Theos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Theos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the souls of the Hollowborn, long lost to the people of Deerwood, were sent to a place or places unknown, for reasons as mysterious as the god who suggested it.
瓦尔的标志。
No sooner had the mystery of their whereabouts been solved than it was renewed. A new riddle for someone yet to be revealed, or perhaps for no one at all. For the people of Deerwood, the question would linger as it always had, for even the truth was beyond belief. One day, the Hollow Births had stopped with as little explanation as they had started. For all their joy at the legacy's end, Deerwoodans would have to content themselves with their own theories as to the how and why of it all. But perhaps this was as well intended.
所以到位置空
Helia,
间就是
who
这
had
样。
expected the souls to be returned to the Hollowborn, was infuriated by your duplicity. The goddess of motherhood demanded new births in compensation, and made a bargain with Berith to trade death for new life. The skies of Deerwood darkened, blotted with swarms of birds and other winged creatures, called together to claim what the Sky Mother believed to be hers by right. For months, the people of Deerwood were forced to stay under shelter for fear of the vicious, unexplained
Wow,
attacks
how
from the sky. The incident left entire villages decimated and littered the streets of Defiance Bay with corpses covered in 1,000 puncture wounds. The loss of the souls you had promised to Entropy would be no setback to Remergand, nor to Andra, for the Beast of Winter trudges ever forward, and the will of the Lady of Lament is as unstoppable as the tide. In Deerwood, the weather quickly chilled. Unseasonable frosts destroyed the year's harvests before giving way to the coldest winter in memory. Many who survived the famine would soon freeze to death in their own homes. The oceans proved no safer. A barrage of squalls pounded the harbors along the Deerwooden coast for months, sending many ships to be forever lost in the depths of Andra's domain, either mourned or forgotten, both to the lady's liking. It is said that Galawain is the enforcer of the gods, and is known to hunt down those who wrong them. To wrong Galawain, then, is truly to wake the beast, and the father of monsters took great umbrage at your broken promise to him. Along with Mogren and Abidan, Galawain embarked upon a more direct approach to claiming his quarry. In the months that followed, the frontier settlements of Deerwood were inexplicably attacked by packs of beasts and monsters, suddenly organized and unafraid to approach Kith on their own land. Many such villages were all but destroyed by the time troops could be dispatched from local garrisons. Those that weren't destroyed by the beasts of Galawain often found themselves at the mercy of the fires of Mogren. A dry spell throughout Deerwood led to a rash of forest fires on a scale not seen since the War of Black Trees, and many settlements paid the price for their proximity to the wilderness. In the cities, meanwhile, dabblers in animancy who had placed souls into golems and other moving vessels soon found that their creations had risen up against them. Such constructs terrorized their surroundings, killing indiscriminately and often in great numbers before being subdued. Followers of Berith have a saying that life is a debt all must pay in death,
and their god is known to always collect what is owed. In breaking your word to Bareth, a debt was created. Souls were owed to the cycle, and the agents of the god of inevitability would not be refused. An epidemic of unexplained deaths struck Deerwood in the days that followed the legacy. Most often, the dead would be travelers on the road, known to be a favorite target of Bareth's pallid knight, who exacts impossible tolls from those who have journeyed for too long. The elderly, too, seem to pass on in alarming numbers. But just as often, the deaths appeared to strike randomly, and for no reason at all. Those who sensed the involvement of the twinned god dubbed the calamity Bareth's Price, supposing it a payment for the end of Widewind's legacy. Lord Radric's zeal had brought him back to life once, but it would not do so again. Radric's destruction at your hands spelled the end of his suffocating rule over Gilded Vale and the surrounding area. In his absence, the village prospered, becoming a popular destination for new settlers anxious to leave Defiance Bay after the riots. Without a nearby ruler, it also grew more wild, with many settlers moving on as soon as they'd arrived, turned off by lawlessness that was excessive even by Deerwooden standards. Nevertheless, despite the challenges of living there, Gilded Vale had survived, and would continue to survive for the foreseeable future. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order would soon come from an unexpected source. House Dominel, realizing that stability was good for business, brought the city's criminal elements in line through a systematic campaign of fear and intimidation. Capitalizing on the mutual antipathy of the Dozens and the Knights of the Crucible, House Dominel continued to manipulate both groups from the shadows, ensuring their decline and eventually supplanting their authority in Defiance Bay. Defiance Bay was served well by the Dominel's rise. Their subtle political maneuvers and lack of legal oversight allowed them to broker a number of favorable trade deals, rekindling the city's economy. Although their cautious approach in the legacy's aftermath had perhaps denied them broad notoriety outside of Defiance Bay, House Dominel's wealth and influence both continued to grow unchecked. The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill. Though at first few were willing to venture into the abandoned district, it was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds, it would be some time before it was fully repopulated. But eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase the memory. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an Animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay, and few Animancers survived the first day. Many Deerwoodens took the end of Widewind's legacy as a sign, both that the gods did not approve of animancy, and that the purging of Animancers in Defiance Bay had been enough to satisfy them. In time, their rage would subside, and a number of surviving Animancers remained in and around Defiance Bay, often taking to the wilds to practice their science without repercussions. The town of Deerford had seen the last of the cult of Scan. Dark rumors about the town's many curses quickly faded, and travelers soon returned. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every Thane and Earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. Palagina had gone against the Duke's Bell's orders by inventing a new trade arrangement with the Anamenfath to accommodate the recovering Deerwooden market. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Widewind's legacy, the Valian republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. For her outrageous insubordination and audacity, Palagina was banished from the republics. She traveled north in the Eastern Reach, avoiding Valian ports and entering the ranks of the kind wayfarers. Despite her bravery and dedication to those in her care, her strange appearance made her feel like an outsider wherever she went. Adair chose not to return home. Still conflicted as to his role in the Saints' War and unsure of his place in the Deerwood, he took a ship to Adir and reunited with his parents. There, he resumed the quiet lifestyle he had grown accustomed to in his years as a farmhand in Gilded Vale. When the dust settled in Sun and Shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Theos Ixarchanon, his former master. He saw where the Grandmaster had gone wrong and what would be required to undo the harm Theos had wrought. With a flick of his wrist, he burned Theos's robe, headdress, and every other symbol of the man's power. Never again, he vowed, should Kith live in fear and blind obedience to an authority they did not understand. Armed with the knowledge and courage he had gained on his journeys with the Watcher, he set out on the long and lonely task of dismantling the Leaden Key. With the Watcher's goals accomplished and his own vows fulfilled, Kanarua sailed back toward Rawatai, thinking on the lessons his travels had provided him. By the time he landed at Tekoa, he understood what his path must be. Standing before the Lore College, Kanarua explained that the tablet he sought had been destroyed, and so a true interpretation of the Tonvi Orator could no longer exist. The people of Rawatai would have to create their own. He described the many strange things he had seen in his travels, and announced his intent to pursue the accumulation of knowledge abroad, seeking answers to new questions. True to his word, Kana soon set sail on yet another expedition, and in Tekoa, his passionate accounts inspired many to follow in his footsteps. With Theos defeated and the souls released from Sun and Shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. Pleasant and peaceful memories rose to fill the cracks in the grieving mother's mind. She returned to the birthing bell, unaware that the village nearby had become an empty desolation in her absence. Thus she began her tireless vigil atop the Adra, awaiting mothers and children who never came. Durrance continued to blame Woodica for the atrocities of the Saints' War. Believing Magrin to have been a pawn in the machinations of the Queen that was, and feeling that Theos's expulsion had been a step towards reconciliation with his goddess, Durrance tried for a time to reopen communication with her. When only silence came, he took it as a condemnation of his continued existence. Ultimately, he built a pyre and threw himself upon it, using his own shattered staff as kindling. You and Sagani never found Persoc together. The Adra figurine had gone dark by the time they emerged from Sun and Shadow, and it was another month before Sagani finally accepted that Persoc's trail had gone cold again. Her search took her beyond the Deerwood and as far as the Living Lands. She saw the great coastal cities of Rawatai and the ruins of Old Valia, absorbing the details of these strange and distant lands. 20 years passed before the Adra figurine finally glowed again. When it did, she followed its signal to a quiet hamlet on the outskirts of Adir. There, she met a young farmer and told her of her past as an elder of Masuk. Sagani returned to a village that had forgotten her face, but remembered her story. Masuk greeted her with cautious warmth, and Sagani found that their ways had become strange to her. She also learned that Kalu had perished of winter fever a few years before, and her middle child, Majuo, had died in a raid. But she found her daughter Yakona a hunter and mother of 3, and her son Malak a builder of mighty walls. In them, she came to find her place in the village, and the familiar contours of a world that had changed in her absence. For you, the death of Theos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead, made no easier by your decision to bring an infant to Sun and Shadow.
带一个婴儿去太阳根。干，难道是资料片？会吧，会吧，你要我玩资料片？我还可以加速哎，好爽！做加速这个没什么意义啊。所以是要怎样？他一定要把它跳完就对了啊！因为这里面我都不是我认识的人，刚为什么要再跳一次？为什么要再跳一次公司标志？哦 ，Kickstarter 的，这些全部都 Kickstarter 的人啊！哇，好厉害！这是在这里面找自己名字的意思就对了。好了，加油吧，各位大大们，加油！关心那个4大运的那个事情。啊，结束了。基本上没有什么差，我觉得这个结局大概就这样子，好像就没有什么差。其他的应该就不重要了，就算是选其他的好了，或者是我先把那个解完，应该就是稍微变好一点吧。但是实际上有没有差？我觉得应该是没有差的。我也有点懒得做这种事，啊，太麻烦了。后半段我打个英霸好了。打个暴雪英霸，然后这游戏大概就这样子了。因为苍运高原啊、苍运国这个部分我都 DLC 我都没有买，所以它的主要剧情就是这样子。简单来讲，就是揭露这些神都是假的，都是以前的然后黑科技做出来的邪恶意志，那些人的意志，那一群人希望的神的意志啊。就是这样子。很奇怪，斯卡恩到底是在什么样的意志之下制造出来的？真是很诡异。总而言之，他是说我赢了这场游戏啊，是众神之间的游戏。但是我本身是很想跟沃迪卡一决胜负。但是可以把神从神座上拉下来，不是很开心吗？而且我也不能把那些灵魂灌注在自己身上成为神，好像也不怎么样。可能是隐藏选项吧。不管如何，这游戏到此为止。好，就这样吧。游戏结束了。永恒之柱终于破关了。我觉得其他的选项也不会影响到最后结局的结果，大概就是其中几个结果会换而已。因为在前面的几个比较重要的结果都是已经确定的，所以大概没有差。买的那些哦，那些也不是炸的，那好像是卤味吧？其实不知道那些是什么东西。他说在我家附近啊。 好啦。好，换游戏吧。总而言之，这游戏就这样了。啊，可以删除了。这游戏就当它已经破关了。耶，我赢得了这场游戏。哦，有这个成就，只是我破台的时候会有而已。我破台了，这个游戏就这样。它的OK， 删除，删除。哦。永恒之柱实在打好久，它2代已经研发中，大概又要再用 Kickstarter 的方式弄了。只是画面看起来还是那个样子，它只是把 UI 界面改得更友善一点而已。玩这么久也是真他妈累。OK， 让我们换个游戏吧。1个小时解决，打个半小时吧。看看啊，弄出来有换游戏。电脑吧，干，太可怕了！得3场胜利，暗黑破坏神，这怎么都是暗黑破坏神？这里面的暗黑破坏神就只有这个家伙是而已啊，他都不是啊，到底要多少暗黑破坏神？
我准备好了。
好久没打穆拉丁了，玩一下。到底每次都甩到暗黑破坏神是怎么回事？暗黑破坏神英雄也没有这么多啊。本周特卖组。国王缝合怪，这不是最？让我们尽兴而归吧。哦，我以为这些是最便宜的，后来发现大部分都是最便宜的，除了这只以外。让我们尽兴而归吧。这些都不怎么样啊。打个英霸，快速解决。不过永恒之柱光是看结局也看了15分钟了，也是蛮厉害的。 干的事、干的怪事也太多了。不过带着婴儿回暗影之养到底是怎么回事，我实在是不懂。不是应该带着那个小婴儿去那个吗？去塞德努亚生活吗？让那小婴儿成为城主啊！
准备，交给我吧。做好准备。
近期获得护，
我们动手吧。
不是冲锋在战啊？有吗？没有哎。
开始吧。
等待结束。
出门准备明天的事情。到所有的牌套。
3、2、1，杀！
别挡我！
真了不起！
杀人哦！
放马过来吧！
古老的祭坛复苏了，控制2座祭坛就能解放龙骑士。同时控制2座祭坛，就能获得巨龙的力量。
谢了。
反抗中，抱歉，那我要闪了。
我来也。
为了卡兹莫丹。
摧毁堡垒了。
这人在干嘛？看就是。
选择天赋。
我来也。我们动手吧！放马！
现在的范围这么大。
你的敌人必败无疑。
放敌人的脑袋。
球，接招！
被分出去。
死翘了。
抱歉，高小，满呢？
鸣杀开始。选择天赋。
知道对面是卡尔洛斯啊，在那边走在他旁边，被他丢不是活该吗？搞什么？
这还差不多。
哎，我以为你要吃这个。
我为了卡斯莫丹。
人去追那个，现在是怎样？会等人来啊！
祭坛有了足够解放巨龙的怒火。
洛斯，不要跑啊！洛斯，洛斯！有这些人跑去吃下面的佣兵哦。
巨龙觉醒的时刻到了，释放他的力量。
天赋。对，堡垒被摧毁了。胜利是我们的。
想随我，这么容易？
谢了，我去。打爆敌人的脑袋！
靠腰嘞！
深陷火海。
我得先撤退。
死臭臭，炸一双，杀三只，
杀三只，
真了不起！
好厉害！
为什么丢
MVP？
随时会丢不到人。刚居然预判错误了，是傻了。A 破坏神哦，这家伙吧，啊，这家伙也行。哦。算了，把它练练。
我的双剑任你差遣。
哎呀，好想要洛斯啊！然后应该要练这个的，直接解响。他多少？ 它还差多少升级？再一个是百千万、10万、17万哦，台场才4万吧？哇，这也要4、5场，不如练这几个憨哥。为什么那么久？开个电脑也排那么久。对啊，我还有卡西亚哎，我忘了他也是暗黑英雄。
你是新来的，向司寇伐燧之女证明你的能耐吧。
来吧，我们要一起征服面前的敌人。
哦，是卡西亚。
遵命。
开战倒数10秒。说实在话，打小兵能吸血也是比较好的。白痴哦，全部都挤这边是怎样的？3只嘞，好爽！哦，好。
我出发了。
将你们逐出这片大地！盟友们，提高警觉，我要转移位置了。
小子，做得好！
被跑喽！
太好笑了！
我们所向无敌。
哦，
别挡路。
凡人，快来！进入地狱之门了。
我们飞掉，哦，飞这个叫飞的。
建议拿下堡垒摧毁了。开锁。同意，这场胜利值得夸耀。
恶魔，在我的怒火中忏悔吧！
不是。没人可以阻挡我。这场胜利值得夸耀。
赶快走！
别挡路！
就算我也没办法杀这么多人。带一些憨哥来哈。
同意。 这场胜利值得。
我要转移位置了。
我必须撤退。
敌人出局。真了不起。前进。
胜利属于正义的一方。
同意。
净化这片腐败的大地。
别挡路。
哦。
遵命。
吸的太少了。走起来打货也是蛮北气。
获胜。
MVP。
死里逃生4次。
我的双剑任你差遣。
哦，这次这么快。哦，这个屠夫好屌。还有屠夫哎。
准备开战！
都只是有颜色，哇塞，
省点口水吧，我们还有仗要打。
哇塞，好酷哦！
开战倒数！
哇塞，好酷的马
！10秒。
这好像不是用合的，这好像是什么东西送的。
祝你们好运！
没问题。没问题。
我刚按到 A。
各位英雄，夜幕将至，希望你们准备好了。
布尔台索，吃你！
你去干什么？过来啊！
出发！
快！
会你！
你们终于有足够的种子了，巨魔正在成长，你感觉到了吗？夜晚结束了，可是别大意，寄生植物还会回来的。英雄，收成你努力的果实吧，让我的巨魔苏醒过来。做得好，巨魔会夺走敌人的生命。
表现力，选择天赋，
精彩！
大屠杀，解锁新天赋了。
好，结束了。4分钟。
GG。
5分钟，还行吗
MVP。
沉默高手，雕还会沉默，我怎么不知道格雷大居然会沉默？哦，还有很多点，哎呀呀呀呀呀！随便玩一场嘛。再玩一场吗？那好像没有办法像以前那样用一个方向转。诶？对哦。我要按乙祭司哎，月神就不能这样看，哎呦，那还可以，可以限定一个方向，太阳达的造型好像做得更细腻，也没有做得这么细腻啊！哎呀，对啊，以前没这么细腻啊，很奇怪。 况。对，好，不管。哎呀，其他人在想要不要再打一场？这不是很会玩瓦利拉。要练一下啊！算了，算了，休息吧。嗯。